Hello and welcome to yet another episode of an English guy watching wrestling review. I'm the English guy. I'm Nick. Thank you so much for clicking on another video. Much appreciated. And today we're going to be reviewing the 2nd of February 2021 edition of AEW Dark. Now, last week there were 16 matches, which is pretty crazy. This week only 30 matches, but hey, you can't fault AEW for putting that many matches out on a free show on YouTube, so why not? With that being said, let's get to the start of the review. First match was Mbadu teaming with Terrence and Terrell Hughes, this twin sons of Devon Dudley, against QT Marshall, Dustin Rhodes, and Nick Comoroto. Now, I said before in the last review that Nick Comoroto, excuse me, is really starting to, get more of a chance in AEW, and I'm glad because he can do pretty much everything for a guy's size. Not much of a high flyer, I'll say that, but he can, for a big guy, he shows a lot of promise, and I think this was the perfect match for him to show promise in, tagging with two veterans like QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes against a very good trio on the other side. To be fair, first time they've ever teamed together, Umbadu and Terrence Terrell Hughes. And overall, I enjoyed this match. It was a good opening match. And kind of another trend that they usually do on Dynamite, they usually open up multi-man tag team matches. Did the same here, and there's nothing wrong with that. This was a good opening match, and more of a showcase to show Nick Comoroto started to get more and more of a push. And it was a very good match to open the show. I enjoyed this one a lot. And good to see QT Marshall back. I know he's been off AEW television for a little while, but good to see him back. Always great to see Dustin Rhodes, of course. Nick Comoroto got the pinfall. And it was basically a chance to show what he can do against another good trio on the other side. Good opening match. Next match was Ray Phoenix versus Casey Navarro. Now, I personally was looking forward to this because Casey Navarro, I've seen him more and more. I've seen him in Impact Wrestling and more in AEW. And he's good. I do like Casey Navarro, to be honest. He's a good wrestler, good high flyer, just an all-round good talent against a guy who I've sung the praises of so many times and will continue to do so. The amazing Ray Phoenix. And this was a good match. Before tomorrow's, at the time of recording this is, I should say, ahead of the 6-man tag match of the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega versus John Moxley, Pac, and Ray Phoenix. And obviously, for Ray Phoenix to continue on the momentum he has been, it's been great. I mean, as I said, he is amazing. You're always going to get a great match with Ray Phoenix. In a match with someone like Casey Navarro, you are going to get a good match, and that's what this was. Very good matchup. Casey Navarro got a chance to get some good offense in, and I'm pleased to see that. And this was a great show for Ray Phoenix again. But as I said, you can't go wrong with Ray Phoenix. Legitimately one of the best, perform wrestlers around right now. He's insanely good, and this was a good match. So. Also, I will say this before we move on. Great to see Ray Phoenix win with a frog splash, which you don't really see him use very often, but also kind of cool. I liked it. So now I'll give him a thumbs up. Okay. Next match was Tay Conte versus Tesha Price. Now, of course, I've said before, Tay Conte is becoming the most improved as wrestler as weeks go on. And again, she just continues to get better and better, I think. She's really shown a lot of promise in the ring. And against Tesha Price, only a second appearance in AEW as a singles match. And reliable wrestler as they come, but the thing I do like Tay Conte is she's starting to show more submissions in her wrestling, and a new submission won the match in this one. But I like to see that, obviously, the progression of AEW Dark wrestlers like Tay Conte. And it's continuing, and I love to see that. Hopefully, obviously, I'm not sure what AEW's game plan is in the future, but maybe these people could slowly but surely build up the way to Dynamite and pay-per-views. Who knows? But this was a good match, and Tay Conte once again showing what she can do. So, thumbs up. Okay. Next match was Danny Jordan versus Thunder Rosa. Now, of course, Thunder Rosa has a match at tomorrow's Dynamite against Britt Baker, and those two have been still on a feud for months. And it was great to see Thunder Rosa back in AEW. She's probably becoming one of my favourites to watch in the women's division. Obviously, mostly part of the NWA, which is fine. But she's about as reliable as a worker as you can find in the women's division. And this was a good short match. It was a good match, all the same. But Thunder Rosa got a win that will obviously build the momentum into tomorrow's show, and so thumbs up again. Good match. Fun. Next match was. Oh, hang on. From past one. I didn't go past one. Next was the shortest match on the whole card. Was Leila Hirsch versus Catalina Perez. And I won't go over this one for too long. Obviously, Leila Hirsch, once again, showing that she's just such a good wrestler. The amateur background showing she won with the cross arm breaker in very quick fashion, 1 minute and 48 seconds. And I just want to see more Leila Hirsch in AEW. I think she's such a good wrestler. So, there you go. Can't forget that. That's going to be like a signature now. Next match was the Acclaimed versus Ryzen and Danny Limelight, making an AEW tag team debut. Now, I would say this about the Acclaimed. Even though one of them is doing the John Cena thing, I'm going to say as it is. I mean, as much as it may not be how John Cena did it, he's doing the rapper thing, and it's entertaining. To be fair, his raps are good, even though it's not my kind of thing. It's still entertaining, and I like the Acclaimed as a tag team as a whole. I think they're very, very good. He has two very reliable guys in AEW Dark, Daniel Limelight and Rising. Not the longest match. Again, but the Acclaimed got the win, and I think the Acclaimed got the push not too long ago for the AEW tag team titles. Well deserved. Because I think they're one of the most entertaining tag teams in AEW, and the tag team cohesion they have is always great to watch. And that's why I really like the Acclaimed. Despite the fact one of them has a gimmick that's been done before. Kind of like, okay. Anyway, the Acclaimed showed good cohesion in the tag match. There's a thumbs up. I remember this time. Next match was an 8-man tag match. Bear Country and Joey Jenner and Sonny Kiss versus Sean Dean, Baron Black, Aaron Solo, and Mike Verner. Now, it was great to see Joey Janela back in AEW. I know he took quite a beating in his last AEW match. Got injured. Well, not injured, but hurt. But he's back. Great to see him back. And good to see him with Sonny Kiss again, one of the most entertaining tag teams in all AEW. And of course, Bear Country, I've sung their praises before. I think they're great. They didn't get a lot of this match at all. It was mostly Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela, but for all the better for it. And on the other side, you've got Baron Black, Aaron Solo, Mike Verner, and Sean Dean. Yeah, 4 very reliable guys. And this was actually overall a good 8-man tag match. I enjoyed it because the action was good, well put together, and it worked for what it was. And it was kind of like a way to say welcome back to Joey Janela. But in overall, I enjoyed this match. It was a good 8-man tag match, and these kind of matches you see often in AEW. They're always good, and I haven't seen an 8-man tag match in AEW Dark for quite a while, to be fair. But this was a really good 8-man tag match, despite the fact Bear Country didn't get much offense in, if any. I think they got like 4 or 5 moves overall, and that was it. But still, really good 8-man tag match. That's it. Okay, next was the Gun Club. Their tag team debut. It was Austin Gunn and Billy Gunn versus John Skyler and Ray Jazz. Now, for the first time ever, these two tagged together in a tag match on AEW Dark, and it was a decent match, to be fair. Austin Gunn is I'm pretty sure he's the least experienced member of the Gun Club, against John Skyler and Ray Jazz, who I don't know that much about either man. Ray Jazz made his Dark debut last week. John Skyler has been there before. Sorry, my apologies, he has been there before. But a good tag match, to be fair. And I think the right person got the pinfall, and that was it was Austin Gunn. Yes, it was Austin Gunn. It was good to see him get the pinfall. It was a good tag match. Next match was legitimately my match of the night. Even though it wasn't the longest match, it was still my match of the night, and that was Alex Gracia versus Red Velvet. Now, Red Velvet is starting to get more momentum and more of a push in AEW, which is fine, against Alex Gracia, who has been in AEW a few times now, but mostly on Dark, once on Dynamite. This was her best showing to date. She showed some superb wrestling in this match. I've never seen Alex Gracia. I will admit, I did not know that much of her before she came to AEW. I knew the name, I just never seen her in a match before. So I thought, okay, cool. But this was her best outing to date, I think. And she's really good wrestling match. And she shows some wrestling moves I've never seen before. And Red Velvet was always reliable as they come. As I've said this before, she's really starting to show a little bit more improvement as well, I think. And this was, even though it was only about just over 4 minutes, it was a very good match from Alex Garcia. And if this is the way it's going to continue, obviously the women start to show more, Alex Garcia start to show a little bit more progression. Hopefully, it continues. I really want to see it happen, but always great to see that in AEW. I mean, AEW Dark seems to do that, as I've said, and it's good to see it carrying on. From people perhaps you did not maybe think they would get that chance. I didn't expect Alex Garcia to get that chance, but now she's starting to, so can't complain about that. Always good to see that. A smile at that one, actually. Okay, next match was Dark Order's number 10 versus Jake St. Patrick. Now, those who know, -1 is Brody Lee Jr. Excuse me. And, sorry. Sorry. There we go. Anyway, he's obviously the late great Brody Lee's son. And he's kind of like the leader of the Dark Order now, and he has been kind of keeping a closer relationship with number 10, and it's great to see. It's just one of the things that in Dark Order, they've slowly started, even before fortunate demise of, fortunate death, sorry, of Brody Lee. They were starting to build a bit more momentum, getting a bit more fans behind them, I think, and it proved it here. And even though I'd say that Jake St. Patrick was a face, no, it didn't do anything heel like. It was very unique to see a finisher with a power slam, which was number 10 used. He doesn't usually use a power slam, but he used it to win the match. I thought, innovative, different. You don't see that very often in AEW. So, there you go. Next match was the main event. Was Chaos Project, AEW main event regulars by now, I'd say, versus SCU. Now, of course, SCU, as you know, have gone through the whole situation. Frankie Kazarian have said if they don't get a win, so the next time they lose as a tag team, they will split up. Now, I always say SCU didn't win the match, they did not split up. But I personally don't want to see SCU split. I mean, obviously, Scorpio Sky has kind of broke off on his own into a singles run, which is fine because Scorpio Sky is great. But I don't want to see these two kind of separate, and I think sooner or later they will, and I don't want to see it because I love SCU. I think they're so good. I mean, a tag team for so long. But as main events go, this was good. I did like it, and SCU, one of the most reliable tag teams around anywhere, versus another reliable tag team in Chaos Project. They didn't do as much as the Luther using Serpentico as a weapon as I anticipated, but this was a good main event, and obviously SU to build momentum, keep on going until whatever happens. Hopefully, as I said, they don't split. Fingers crossed they don't. But good main event to actually a very decent overall episode of AEW Dark. So, momentum carries on until tomorrow's episode of Dynamite. Big matches signed already. I mean, obviously, we're going to be definitely covering that one. I mean, I really can't wait for that. It's going to be a good event. Anyway, that being said, that's it for this episode. Don't know what that was anyway. That's it for this episode. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time, everyone. Take care.